seat inside. Once we get everyone in,
Uh-oh. Come on in. Feel free to take a seat.
I'm gonna take the couch. Couch. Because of this, they allow people inside, but if they did not have this, people wouldn't be able to go in here. And you get to go outside too. So awesome.
From 1955. So as you were standing out here, I mentioned that it is car 106. It was originally attached to Retlaw 1, Retlaw being Walter backwards. Now the reason that the train was Retlaw is because Walt actually funded the train separately from the rest of the park. A couple of things behind that. He had sponsorships to help pay for the operating costs of several of the attractions, the restaurants, because he knew he wouldn't be able to do that on his own. He just didn't have the resources or the money to be able to do that. So by having these outside companies help cover that, that helped immensely. So the train was actually sponsored by the Santa Fe Railroad. Back when we opened, it was the Santa Fe Disneyland Railroad. And they helped cover the operating costs, they helped them maintain the trains, they trained our engineers and firemen so that it was a consistent operation. But the reason that he funded the train separately, completely, Retlaw was a separate company, so to speak, was so that if the park was not successful, he would still have his train. He was very clever like that. But this was attached to the Retlaw one. There were 6 cars attached to the Retlaw one, each one having a unique name. So the first car was the Combine car, which was a combination passenger car and freight car. Which, as a little boy, that was Walt's favorite car to ride in when he would ride the train with his uncle. So we wanted to make sure that we had that unique space opportunity as well. Car 2, we had the Navajo Chief. There was the Grand Canyon, which was this car, the Grand Canyon observation car. We had the Rocky Mountains, the Pueblos, and the Painted Desert. This one is unique in that it maintains the numbering. It is only one of 2 original train cars still in existence. The other one being the Combine car, which is owned by the Carrollwood Pacific at Griffith Park. And they bring that out every once in a while to show us that. It is made out of Honduran mahogany. The car itself weighs about 8 tons and is just over 37 feet long. It ran until the 1960s, but due to the unique layout of it, the seating was pretty much just like it is right now in terms of how it was laid out. It presented a unique challenge to us in our efficiency in getting guests on. So we stopped loading it with guests. However, we would still use it for private events. In 1974, Lilly and Disney, when we have a picture of Lillian and Walt there in the back on the table, which you can take a look out as you walk back and forth. But she was approached by the manager of the Roundhouse at the time to see if we could turn this into the presidential coach that Walt had originally envisioned it to be. It debuted as the parlor car presidential coach on July 4th, 1976, just in time for the country's bicentennial celebration. That she designed the color scheme, a lot of the artifacts that we have in here, such as the flowers and everything. It was all Lillian's eye for design, and that is also partially why the car carries her name, is the Lilly Belle. She would bring her guest in. They would get a special ticket and a box lunch, and their ticket would show that they were a guest of Lilly and Disney aboard the Lilly Belle that went around Disneyland Park. Now we don't do the box lunch anymore. So like that for me. The first VIP that she got to bring into the Lilly Belle was Japanese Emperor Hirohito and his wife. Now, I'm not sure. I haven't gotten clarification on it yet. I don't know if that was the Japanese emperor who was emperor during the attack on Pearl Harbor, or if it was his son. But it is still connected to that family. But as a token of gratitude and appreciation, he actually gave us his kimono jacket to signify that he was here. So we keep that on display right here. We continued to do that kind of an operation where it was VIPs and dignitaries all the way up until the 1990s. Went away for a little bit, was refurbished and restored, brought it back for a couple of years, and again, just with the loading challenges, but it was still VIPs and dignitaries. In 2005, we brought it back out on the line as a permanent parlor car. And whenever we're able, we try to run it. Even if we can't necessarily load guests, we still at least try to have it on the line. But that was just in time for the park's 50th anniversary celebration. And it was still, dignitaries, VIPs, Club 33, but it also gave the conductors the opportunity that if we wanted, we could go out into the park, we could find some guests, bring them up, and give them the unique private experience inside the Lilly Belle Park. Very limited, but due to the popularity of the internet and it getting it leaked out there that this existed, we actually had to change the way that we operated with it to where we started doing a reservation system. We do reservations as soon as we open, and then a lot of factors went into us being able to provide those reservations. What's our staffing like? How busy is in the park? If we were running 4 trains, we couldn't run this because of the extra loading time that it takes. We couldn't load. If we didn't have the staffing, obviously we couldn't run it because we like to keep the cast member in here so that we can share all of this trivia and tidbits with you. If it's raining, we can't run it. We don't even bring it out because it's wood. Yeah. We don't want it to get warped and ruined. And if it's too hot, it adds about 15 degrees in here. Even with all the windows and the little fans on, it's still extra hot in here. So if it's too hot, we don't run it. Also, the Lilly Belle can only be attached to 2 of our trains. So if and it's usually attached to Holiday 5, which has the blue and white striped canopy. So if that train isn't brought out, then we usually wouldn't bring it out. And right now it's attached to Holiday 4, which is the other train that it can be attached to. But if those weren't being used, then no Lilly Belle for the day. And if we did reservations, and it was generally a couple of trips for the day, there's only 14 seats, and if the first group to set up a reservation was a group of 12, well, now we only have 1 reservation. So it's still very much a unique, somewhat exclusive opportunity that we got to provide. The single chair that you're sitting in there, as well as the love seat there in the back, those both came from the Queen Mary, which ties back to Walt and Lillian. They got to celebrate one of their wedding anniversaries. They could on the Queen Mary when it was still served as a functioning cruise ship, and they got to celebrate their honeymoon or their anniversary aboard the Queen Mary. Any questions? No, I don't. I'm sure someone might say they have, but I don't. Anyone else? Sure. Yes. I'm sure there are several that have been in here, but those are the only 2 that I've ever. It's a train. Actually, if you look at it just like that.
Okay.
And then the ticket number is actually the day that we first started making
So
this.
all of them are the same ticket number.
They are the same ticket number.
Ooh, so this
How come
is
everything in the blew down? Because
Well, one, so that nothing gets taken, but also because as we're going around, so it doesn't rattle.
interesting. Very interesting.
Tuesday.
On Tuesday. Oh.
So it's
Oh wow.
very, very fresh and new.
Oh wow. Thank you so much, though. Really
You all
appreciate
get
it.
that special ticket
Thank you,
just like
sir.
Lillian used to give her guests.
And this is the only week you're doing it, right?
What's that?
This is the only week you're doing this, right? Because I was talking to one of the photographers, and she said this is the only week you're doing it.
Well, it's not the only week. It's the first week we've
First
done
week.
it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is the first week that we've started bringing guests in like this.
I see.
But it was out for a refurbishment for months.
I see.
So
wow, no wonder
So
I
that's
didn't
why
see
it is pristine.
Yeah, I was like, wow, it looks like this after 60 years is pretty good. Well, thank you very much,
You're
Nick.
welcome.
Really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
You too. That's so cool.